is Calliope, and I just wanted to kind of tell you guys a little bit about something I want to do pretty soon. So it looks like I will be hitting 100 subscribers. Yes, 100 subscribers very soon. So I thought for that little milestone, which isn't a lot, but it's a lot more than I thought I would get. So to mark that, I am going to do kind of a little special. So I'm not going to tell you anything about it right now, only that there is a special. So, and today I thought I would learn you a thing about what I do. So in my last video I mentioned that snake plants are a very good plant to have. It filters out a lot of toxins in the air, and they can pretty much survive anything. They're basically indestructible. So I thought today that I would actually tell you a little bit more about that. So I work in a garden center, and I am the resident houseplant expert, rather. And so many people come to me daily about their plants and about issues they have, or what kind of plants they should get, or how to pot them up, how to do all kinds of things with them. So it's kind of my specialty, and I really enjoy doing it. So I thought I would bring that to you guys. It's something I know a lot about, so I thought I would just learn you a thing about it. So what I'm going to be telling you about today is there is a study by NASA called the Clean Air Study, and what NASA did was they tested the properties of certain plants to filter out certain toxins in the air. So they came up with a list of quite a few of them. I want to say probably 20 of the results of the plants and kind of what they filtered out, if they filtered out anything. So there are 6 that I came up with that filter the best. So if you were thinking that the air is a little heavy in your house, it might be time for you to think about a houseplant. So not only will I tell you the name of it, but I'll also tell you the Latin/botanical name, and then I'll give you a little bit of information about them, and I think I'm going to include some pictures as well that I took of my own plants that I take care of. So I suppose we should get started. The first plant that is by far the best, as far as I saw, at filtering out toxins in the air would be the English ivy plant, or Hedera helix. So this plant, if you don't mind me for just a second, I want to kind of look at my list here. So it filters out benzene and formaldehyde and trichloroethylene, xylene, and toluene. So English ivy is a vine, and that means that it grows pretty quickly. Usually if a plant is a vine, it grows rather quickly. Exceptions to the rule would be succulents. So English ivy grows pretty quickly. I personally have not had any luck with it whatsoever, but there are a lot of people that swear by them. So they like to be in kind of a medium to high light situation, which would be like within 5 to 7 feet of a bright window, so think maybe a south or a west window. And they don't like to have a lot of water. They like to be watered when they are dry within like the first maybe 2 inches, so you'd have to kind of stick your finger inside the pot and then you could water it when it's dry then. They really don't like to be waterlogged. So, and another thing, they are toxic to cats and dogs. So if you have a pet that might get into something, you can have it in a hanging basket. That's very common. Or you could just keep it up out of reach. I'm not exactly sure how toxic. I mean, they're at least going to get sick. But other than that, I don't know. Haven't tried it before, let me say. Alright, so our second plant is called the peace lily. So a peace lily will bloom most of the year. It has a, there we go, it has a kind of a white flower that comes up like a spathe, and it's also called a spathe flower as well. So these can pretty much tolerate any kind of light. If you have one, it'll adapt. So even if it's within 10 to 12 feet of a window, it'll still do pretty well. So peace lilies will filter out benzene, formaldehyde, trichloroethylene, xylene, ammonia, and toluene. There we go, toluene. These are toxic to cats and dogs as well. And these like a little bit more water, so I think you can even grow them in straight water actually, but they like to be moist all the time. So if they start to kind of get squishy though, if the stems kind of fall over and get kind of squishy, I would hold back on watering them. Sometimes they're a little more, I suppose, persnickety about watering, which is kind of funny because all the ones I take care of love to be waterlogged, and if they get dry at all, they yellow up. But they can be persnickety. They are an organism. They're an organism. So it's a living thing, you know, not everybody's gonna have the same taste. You know, even people with the same family, not gonna be all the same. Alright, and our third one would be a snake plant. So the snake plant is a huge genus. So the name is Sansevieria or Sansevieria. I personally like to say Sansevieria. However, I think if you look at the actual name, it would be more like Sansevieria. So I actually have a snake plant here. A snake plant that I need to water. And I have another one right here as well. So there are so many different colors and types of snake plant. There's ones that I'll include a picture of a couple of them. There's ones that are called bird nest snake plants, and these ones will kind of come up in like a rosette, and those will only get at the most 3 to 6 inches tall. So those are really cute little clumps of snake plant, and these ones are pretty indestructible. So they can tolerate up to or I guess down to 40 degrees Fahrenheit, which for a houseplant is really, really cold. They also can go without weeks of water. I would definitely not recommend doing that. That will put them through stress that they might not come back from. So, and pretty much as long as there's a window in the room, these will survive. So, the leaves are really hard. It's almost like a hardened leather, which means that usually if they're very hard like that, they can take a lot of light, and they can also take very little. So the botanical name for these couple are Sansevieria trifascita. Now, since most of these are Latin, it's probably more like trifascita, trifastica. You know, there are certain rules to the names. However, if you come into the botanical industry, you will hear everything. So, for example, I will be getting into a couple different types of Dracaena, and I've heard Dracaena, Dracana, Dracaena. I've heard a lot of things, but it's not really hard and fast, so you can kind of play with it, just find what people can understand and what makes sense to you as well. So, the snake plant will filter out benzene, formaldehyde, trichloroethylene, xylene, and toluene. And this is toxic to cats and dogs as well. Kind of sensing a pattern here. Alright, and the fourth one we have is called the Dracaena marginata. Kind of a Spanish sounding name, marginata. And these will filter out benzene, formaldehyde, trichloroethylene, xylene, and toluene as well. These are also toxic to cats and dogs. However, they're more going to just get sick and throw it up. So I would just avoid it completely. And these will also pretty much tolerate any kind of light. Basically, any type of Dracaena will be fine with whatever you throw at it as far as light goes. So you could put it out in the sun in the summer. You could keep it in a dark room in the winter. It will adapt. So, and another kind of Dracaena that I have is called the Dracaena deramensis. So, more specifically, what they tested was the Warnicki cultivar and the Janet Craig cultivar. So, a cultivar is just a strain or variety. So, it would be like different types of apples. So, they're all apples. However, you have Fiji apples, Gala apples, red delicious apples, yellow delicious apples. I can't think of many apples. But they're just different types. So these can, of course, tolerate pretty much any kind of light as well. However, if you notice that they start to get pale, or they kind of are moving towards the light, and you'll kind of know when this happens. If you see that their stems are kind of bending towards the light, it probably needs more light. Again, they can pretty much tolerate anything, but they are an organism. Not everybody wants to have the same amount of light as the other. And I apologize. And the deramensis Dracaena will filter out benzene, formaldehyde, and trichloroethylene. And again, Dracaenas are toxic to pets, so keep them out of reach. And the last one is a chrysanthemum. So this would be like the fall mums. This isn't technically a houseplant, however, it is a plant you can bring inside for a little bit. You'll just want to put it in the brightest place you have. Right next to a window, right on a table near a window, something like that. And these will filter out benzene, formaldehyde, trichloroethylene, xylene, and toluene. These are toxic to cats and dogs as well. I know that one for a fact. And again, those need a lot of light. That would be a mum or a chrysanthemum morpholeum. Morpholeum. So, all of my plants I've given you are toxic to pets. So, is there anything that actually will not be toxic? Yes. Yes, there will. Palms. Palms will filter out formaldehyde, xylene, and toluene. They are non-toxic. Actually, my cat would like to pull out the bulbs of the palm, and then he would stick them in a corner behind the table it was on. So when I finally caught him, half my palm was eaten, and I found a pile of just the fronds, the palm fronds. He didn't really like chew on them, he just pulled them out and then put them all in a pile. It was really, really odd, and this was probably over the course of a month, so he knew what he was doing. Just not really sure what he was doing. So palms, there's a very wide variety of them. They all need about medium to high light, so in a fairly bright spot. There is a misconception that they can tolerate low light. This is not true. And also ferns, those cannot tolerate low light as well. They need their light. So there are different types such as areca palms or bamboo palms or fan palms or sago palms, which are not actually a palm. So retract that. No sago palms. They're a cycad. So, the study I got this from was called, again, the NASA Clean Air Study, and I will be linking it in the description if you want to check it out yourself. If you have any questions about any of the plants that I mentioned or anything that's going on with them, or if you need some more suggestions, then go ahead and leave me a comment. And I know quite a bit of it. I don't know everything, and I might not know it, but I can definitely try, and the internet is a wonderful tool. So, alright, so let me know if you want to see more kinds of things like these. I love my plants, they're my passion, and I really like to talk about them, and I think they're a really good part of a household. They kind of brighten up spaces. They raise the humidity levels. If they can filter out some nasty stuff you didn't think was in the air, like formaldehyde. Why is there formaldehyde in the air? That doesn't make any sense. But just let me know if you want to see more of this. I actually need to pot up my green snake plant. His name is Jeffrey. And my Laurenti snake plant, her name is Mary. So I may pot up Jeffrey for the sake of ASMR within the next few months. The best time to pot plants is in the spring when the new growth is starting, so I think I'm going to wait quite until then, and I need to find a nice terracotta pot to put it in. So they are succulents, so they kind of need their their air, their porousness, you know. So just let me know if you would like to see anything more about this, and I guess I'll make a miniature announcement. So I now have a Blue Yeti mic. So it's actually an incredible story about how it got here and the trouble and lengths I've gone to get this, and even still, I'm not sure if it's gonna work. For me, I'm kind of stupid when it comes to this kind of stuff. Didn't used to be, but I kind of have some weird equipment going on. Phone, microphone, which is actually right over here, so if I keep looking in that direction, that is why. So, I'd just like to thank you for watching, and I will be having my 100 subscriber special coming up soon, and I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I hope I learned you a thing. Thanks for watching.